No Kings protest draws hundreds locally. Nearly 80 come out to hear Middletown's comprehensive plan. And Davenport man gets 31 to life for murder. These are the top headlines this week. Welcome to Catskills Air. I'm Jessica Murphy with your latest local news. Joining me is Matt Avitable, editor and publisher of the Mountain Eagle and Catskills Chronicle. Welcome, Matt. Did Tuesday night's lightning, hail, thunderstorms show up your way?
Unfortunately, we didn't get any hail, but it was not a pleasant experience.
I was out on my porch watching because it was pretty darn cool. Well, we'll see if there's more showers ahead later in the broadcast. So let's get right to the news. Thousands were out across the nation protesting No Kings, even here in the Catskills. From Woodstock to Delhi and in between. Matt, the paper covered the rally in Delhi. Can you describe the action?
There were quite a few out that day. Got a couple of different estimates. Both were in the hundreds and several photos. In fact, it's on the cover of this week's paper with some more photos inside. Lots of folks, lots of signs, protesting, demonstrating their rights.
A crowd came out to hear about the comprehensive plan for Middletown. Can you explain what this is and why it's so important for these local communities?
There was another crowd in Delaware County. This one happened on March 26th. Dozens of people, estimated about 80, came out to Union Grove Distillery to talk about the comprehensive plan that is being planned for the town of Middletown. Ultimately, this is something that's going to include also the villages of Margarville and Fleischman's working together with the town. A lot of good input. We wound up seeing a thank you from board member Robin Williams, and it looks like with the public participation and cooperation of local government, hopefully this one will be one that will stand the test of time.
The Davenport man who was found guilty of murder was sentenced last week. Justin Volk is going to be spending a long time behind bars. Matt, what's his sentence and what was the crime?
Convicted of murdering his wife, Stephanie Volk, Justin Volk is going to be spending likely the rest of his life in prison, 31 years to life. After being convicted by a jury of his peers, he was ultimately sentenced for this murder in the second degree, which is a Class A2 felony.
The Onteora Board of Ed has several vacant seats. Matt, why is that and what's being done to fill these vacancies?
Currently, there's 3 board seats that need to be filled at the May 19th election. They're going to be 3-year terms between 2026 and 2029. Ultimately, they have rotations, and these 3 are going to be open. If you're interested in running, we have more on the cover of the Chronicle this week.
Now we know spring is here because the trout season opener was all wet. Matt, reporter Liz Page has a few thoughts on that one. Do tell.
Including a photo of a 10-inch brook trout caught early on that opening day. It is a rite of passage. Looked like it was a good day, except for the rain. You mentioned the rain earlier. April 1st wound up having a little bit of April Fools for us, as ultimately spring showers are here. Same happened with trout season. Looked like some people got some good catches, but ultimately, otherwise, was kind of an unpleasant day.
A Stamford man received a special award at the Baseball Hall of Fame. Matt, there's a nice photo of Greg Sanick in the paper. Tell us more.
After years of service to the district, he is now honored by the Hall of Fame. He's bedecked out in a Red Sox jersey. Happened last Thursday at the Hall of Fame. He currently works there in retirement, and he was presented with a special bat by the Hall of Fame president, Josh Rawitz. Great picture sent to us by the Hall of Fame.
A Cooperstown woman was arrested for cashing bad checks at the Delaware National Bank. What's the word there, Matt?
The sheriff announced an arrest here after several fraud complaints in Stamford and Davenport. About $14,000 was alleged to be cashed by Jennifer Hewitt of Cooperstown, and ultimately she was arrested and charged with 2 counts of grand larceny in the 3rd degree, which are both Class D felonies, and 2 counts of cashing a bad check, Class B misdemeanors.
And how about the Bloomville woman who was arrested following an accident?
Sheriff Craig Dumont also announced the arrest of that Bloomville woman. This happened after a crash on March 23rd around Tower Mountain Road in Stamford. Deputies made contact with and identified 56-year-old Diane Drake of Bloomville. Her driver's license revealed that her driving privileges were suspended in the state of New York, and ultimately she was charged with one count of aggravated unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle in the third degree and a number of traffic summonses.
In other news, SUNY Delhi students showed off their lineman skills at a recent open house. These guys are taking their careers to new heights, right, Matt?
I love this one. So our intern Lexi Rockefeller got these really cool photos with the blue sky behind, showing off the students. They wound up being supported by a number of local organizations. SUNY's done a great job with it, as well as the Delaware County Electric Cooperative, or DCEC. And with that, they showed off their lineman skills. Check out the cool photos. It's on the back cover of this week's Mountain Eagle section.
And while we're talking about students, Matt, tell us about the new two-county study on their futures.
This is something that we're going to be talking more about as we get more details. This was a late announcement from the different school districts in Delaware and Schoharie County. We're going to see Jefferson, Gilboa, Collinsville, Roxbury, South Courtright, and Stamford working together. The hope is a long-term collaborative initiative to try and work on the long-term sustainability and educational opportunities across the district. This is going to cover a lot of different elements. If you want more details to start, it's here in the paper, but we're going to be covering it quite a bit in the weeks to come.
More honors for Margaretville Central School last week. The board president received a services award.
Doris Warner was selected as a recipient of the Capital Area School Development Association Excellence in School Board Services Award. A lot of credit to her. She wound up saying that she was humbled and honored to receive the award. She has done a lot of work, and she was ultimately nominated by Superintendent Michelle Austerhout for her service to the community.
And 2 MCS students were also honored for achievement in career and technical education.
Absolutely. We have this great photo in the paper. We saw Olivia Frankowiak and Isabella Andre, each honored for their service. They were and have been parts of the National Technical Honor Society, and ultimately, great photo in the paper this week showing their skill.
Congrats to everyone from all of us here at CatskillsAir. Delaware Academy students attended a statewide leadership conference. Tell us more.
Lots and lots of school news in this week. We have photos of Adeline Schultz and Olivia McGonigal receiving the top award for the New York State FCCLA State Leadership Conference for their Pizza and Paws chapter project. They're going to represent the entire state at the national competition this summer in Washington, D.C.
Folks in Hobart are putting the spring in, well, spring. Carolyn Bennett reports on the Hobart Community Alliance.
Our own editor emeritus, Carolyn, did a great job with this one. She's highlighting a lot of the good news that's happening in Hobart. More than 20 people showed up. There's a bunch of things that they're planning, including the community spring cleanup on April 19th. We also saw increased participation. They're going to be working with the village, hopefully, on an enhanced lighting plan and talking more about a potential comprehensive plan.
The first trip of the season with the Delaware County Historical Association is going to be not only an elegant look to the past, but a tasty one.
This one's going to be really neat. If you can make it June 11th, it's going to be to the Culinary Institute of America and the Vanderbilt Mansion Historic Site. Make your reservations by May 1st. We have contact information for the DCHA in this week's paper.
Well, a trip to the mansion sounds very enticing, Matt. And lastly, spring brings showers, and in nature, it's baby showers. Reporter Jesse Angelino writes about Spring Fling, a wildlife baby shower fundraiser.
There's such a cute little photo of this baby squirrel in this week's paper. If you can make it, it's going to be Sunday, April 25th and 26th, running from 11 to 6 p.m. at Meadowbrook Farm in Leeds. That's in Greene County for our readers. And ultimately, it's going to be held inside in a barn. It's going to raise money for crucial supplies for rescue, rehabilitation, and release of sick and injured wildlife here in the Catskills. If you want to see some cute animals, if you want to be part of a good cause, make it out on the 25th or the 26th.
For more on these and other articles, pick up the Mountain Eagle or Catskills Chronicle. But Matt, before you go, what's in store for next week's paper?
Quite a bit. We have to expand more on that cooperation plan between the 5 local school districts. We're going to see the first meetings of April pop up, and after a rainout yesterday, we're hoping to have some baseball or softball. We wound up being a little short as Mother Nature has not been terribly cooperative.
All right, well, thanks for keeping us all up to date, and we will see you next week.
See you then.
Spring sports have started. Here's John with the first games on the local diamonds.
Play ball was a call heard on baseball and softball diamonds throughout our Catskill Mountains as last week another spring high school sports season got off the ground. Behind a dual 17 strikeout outing from Everett West and Grayson Palmer, the Walton Downsville baseball squad opened their season in a big way, crushing Lawrence Milford 12-1 in a game played at Milford's Village Park. West led the offensive barrage with a 2-hit 4 RBI day. Delhi Academy dropped a squeaker 8-6 in their non-league opener to S.S. Stewart at the Frozen Ropes Park in Chester, New York. With some dual offensive efforts, Lucas Nellis had 2 hits, Mason Reed drove in 2 runs, and Braden Eckert scored a pair of runs. Aiden Dick slammed a 2-bagger for the Bulldogs. Wyndham split a pair of non-league contests, falling 13-3 to Middleburg and then outlasting Lawrence Milford 6-5. Jackson Storm struck out 9 batters and picked up the win for the Warriors. Peyton Dempsey had 2 hits for the Victors. Carton Brooks and Bryce Harvey put together a 10-strikeout pitching effort on the hill for LM in the game. In girls softball play, Charlotte Valley Skenevis outlasted Gilboa Roxbury 5-3 in a tight Delaware League contest. Brinley Wright had it going in the pitching circle for SV Skenevis, fanning 14 to earn the pitching victory. Wright helped her own cause with 2 hits at the plate. Abby Haynes had a solid pitching outing for Gilboa Roxbury, striking out 11. Addison Bruck had 2 hits and scored 2 runs for GR. Hannah Tuttle launched her 2006 season with a blast, recording back-to-back no-hitters, guiding Wyndham to a 16-0 whitewash over Margaretville and blanking Lawrence Milford by the exact same score. Tuttle struck out 15 Blue Devils and 14 Lawrence Milford batters. Piper Cohane ripped 6 hits and scored 5 times over the 2 games. South Court Right Andes started their new season on a high note, downing Stamford Jefferson 12-4 in a Delaware League contest, played on the Rams' home field. Nayla Brown had a huge game, earning the win in the pitching circle and firing 8 strikeouts. And opening up a new softball chapter in a non-league opener, playing on their new turf field, Delhi Academy took down Bainbridge Guilford 14-8. It took the Bulldogs some time to get going, Delhi rallying from a 5-0 deficit to earn the win. Kinsley Tracy struck out 8 without walking a batter to pick up the win for Delhi. Tracy had a pair of hits and knocked in 2 RBIs from the offensive side of the ledger. Brianna Casey and Jaslyn Henderson both smashed doubles for the Bulldogs. That's our local sports report for this week.
Some intrepid folks tested their skills at Bel Air's annual Slush Cup, the ultimate pond skimming challenge on Saturday. Skiers and riders attempted to glide across Bel Air's 100-foot pond in style and in costume. Awards were given out for Best Splash, Best Skim, and Best Costume. And for those not quite up for the skimming challenge, it was also Bel Air's annual costume day. Sounds a little cold, but a whole lot of fun. This is Jonas Finkel reporting. Now back to you, Jess.
Radio Catskill in Liberty plans to merge with WIOX in Roxbury, reports the Times-Union. This will expand non-commercial radio service throughout the Catskill and northern Pennsylvania region, and we'll have more details in next week's broadcast. You can go into a supermarket and buy beer with your pretzels, but you can't get wine with your cheese. And that's because New York is one of 10 states that do not sell wine in grocery stores, nor can you buy food in a liquor store. Some state wineries are in an uproar, and the debate has been kicking around Albany for years now. Now, 2 state senators are pushing separate bills to bring wine into grocery stores. One creates a money incentive for store owners, while the other says only New York State wine should be sold in food markets. What do you guys think? One-stop shopping for your wine and cheese, or keep the food and alcohol apart? Call or email us with your thoughts. Now let's see what Elizabeth has in arts and entertainment.
I hope you're enjoying a wonderful day and seeing creativity and passion in everything that you do. The Long Year Gallery in Margaretville has Drawing Take a Line for a Walk, plus their group members exhibition. It opened March 20th, runs till April 19th. A variety of styles and painting, sculpture, beauty you will find at the Long Year Gallery. The bevy of artists there are amazing. And the idea of trying to create an image with as few strokes as possible has always been a challenge for artisans and artists. So definitely take a moment when you can and go and check out the Long Year Gallery and see the amazing art that's there. Gallery 40 in Poughkeepsie, Seriously Whimsical, opened March 21st, runs till April 26th, a group exhibition incorporating childlike innocence, childlike wonder into their art. So this should be a really fun exhibit. Bring your family, bring your kids, and show them that you can make anything into art when you put passion and a creative heart and soul behind it. In SUNY Oneonta at the Martin Mullen Gallery, opened March 24th, runs till May 2nd, 2026, juried student show. These are all the wonderful artists and artisans that are going to SUNY, and this is the annual juried show for them. So it's very important to express themselves, get people to look at their work, get reviews, and see what everybody else is doing. So this is a wonderful event to go to and help support them. Perhaps you even have family members going to SUNY Oneonta. The reception is April 30th, 5 to 7. So hopefully you'll be able to get a chance to go and check it out, see what amazing things people are doing out there. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Is spring here? Can we expect April showers? And when will warm weather finally come and stay for a while? Let's see what next week's weather looks like.
Heidi-ho, friends and neighbors. It's Lori with CatskillsAir, bringing you your weekly weather update for the beautiful, pristine, still highly wacky and unpredictable in weather Catskill Mountain region. And folks, it's wacky and unpredictable everywhere across the country. In fact, across the whole world. The weather phenomenon is just absolutely off the charts, and that's not going to change anytime soon. It's like April Fool's Day is going to continue the whole month, maybe the whole spring and summer. However, to kick off this weekend weather, we in the Catskill Mountain region and the upper northeast are going to kick it back to some sprinter. Yep, you heard it from me. To kick off the week, for the first part of the week, we're going to dip those temperatures back in the Catskill Mountain region way back to the upper teens on Tuesday morning. However, after that, come hump day, those temperatures are going to rise. We're going to see the sun come out, and it's just going to be a spectacular remainder of the week. But we got to get through the beginning of the week with a little bit of sprinter and a little bit of snow and a little bit of mixed precipitation and wind. So let's give it a go and check out what's happening in the Catskill High Peaks for this week in weather. On Monday, we can expect lots of clouds Very cool temperatures, cold, windy, and floating flurries. Temps are only going to reach the upper 30s, possibility of 40. Winds out of the west-northwest at 10 to 20. Overnight, we have partly to mostly cloudy skies with floating flurries. Temperatures are going to dip back to the mid to upper 20s, winds out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10. On Tuesday, we have cloudy skies with rain and snow showers throughout the day. Temps are only going to make it to the mid to low 30s, winds gusting out of the west-northwest at 10 to 20. Overnight, we have partly cloudy skies. It's going to be very cold and very frigid with a chance of floating flurries. Temps are going to dip back to the mid-teens with winds gusting out of the northwest at 10 to 15. On Wednesday, we have mostly sunny skies. Temps are on the rise to the mid to upper 40s, winds lightly blowing out of the west at 5 to 10. Overnight, we have mostly clear skies, very chilly conditions, but the temps are rising to the low 30s, winds out of the south at 5 to 10. On Thursday, we have a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s, possibly hitting 60 in some areas, with winds on the breezy side out of the south at 10 to 20. Overnight, we have a few passing clouds with breezy conditions out of the south at 10 to 15, with temperatures dipping back to the mid to upper 30s. And on Friday, those temperatures are on the rise with partly cloudy skies, turning to mostly cloudy skies in the late afternoon. Temps are going to top out in the upper 60s. Winds are going to be breezy out of the south-southwest at 10 to 15. And overnight, we have mostly cloudy skies with periods of showers after midnight. Those temps are going to dip back to the mid to upper 40s with winds out of the south-southwest at 5 to 10. As I bid you farewell, remember that weather and temperature changes on a dime, especially in the beautiful Cats. Be sure to join me, Lori, for your weekend weather update, because it's going to get spectacular with sunshine and balmy temperatures. So see you then from somewhere in the Cats.
That's it for CatskillsAir News. If you see something out there, let us know. I'm Jessica Murphy. Bye for now.